Alright guys, welcome back to the Smoking Vipers YouTube channel. Today we are going to be taking this and turning it to that. Stay tuned guys. Alright guys, welcome back. Today we are going to be wrapping this full center console here. Just this crusty ass part. It's had a rough life, so we're going to wrap it. We got a roll of fresh Alcantara that we're going to be doing. So stay tuned. We're going to start ripping this thing apart and we'll get to it. We got new you guys are looking for windbreakers, hoodies, t-shirts. This is freshly embroidered. This is a collapsible windbreaker. Folds up into its own little pouch. So if you wanna check out some merch, feel free to hit the link down below and head over to our merch store. Alrighty guys, for those of you wondering why we are wrapping this in Alcantara, so this is the state of the center console. I'm still tracking down the lid latch. I think I can get another one of these. It's not too bad. It's still in good shape. The latch is the lid itself, but I just need the latch. But this is the state it's in. It's kind of rough, chewed up from all the years of harnesses and stuff like that. I am missing the ashtray in the back. I'm still trying to find that as well. But we do have our roll of Alcantara here. It's pretty good. We're gonna get wrapping this, and then depending whether or not this turns out good, we will possibly do some of the door cards. On the door cards, I was mentioning to you guys before that the handles themselves are getting a little rough here. It feels like it's like a spongy material underneath, but it feels pretty solid. So I can chances are pull this door panel apart, pull this whole section off. We'll wrap this. We'll wrap all of this in Alcantara and see how it goes from there. Just kind of update the interior, bring it into 2023, and then also this part, if it works out good, I'll wrap this. It's still in great shape, but it's more or less just bringing everything into the new age with a twist, right? So we do have a spot down in the States for some carpet. We're going to be going to the black carpet, the heavier weave kind of. It's gonna match the floor mats pretty good. But all in all, so far, car's coming along, guys. Stay tuned. Just like that, tub is removed. This gives us a chance to wrap all the Alcantara around the bottom and have it securely locked in. This is still in great shape. We still got our little secret cup holder stuck in here. We'll have to give this a good pressure wash. Some of these pieces are in great shape for being 23 years old. It's one of those things that, working on a car like this, you gotta be super careful. Super careful not to break any other pieces. Alright, pretty much got it all stripped down here. Looks like the ashtray has metal tabs that are holding it in. So we'll bend these flat carefully and try and get it out. I did have a set of pliers here. There we go, ashtray out. As you can see, those tabs there are what are retaining it into the plastic. Like I said, I'm going to try to find some of these bits and pieces just to kind of clean up for my own personal sanity. But yeah, so we got everything all stripped down. We're going to give it a wash. Going to give it a quick wash, get all the gunk and stuff out of here, and then we'll take some of these high spots off that are kind of nicked up. So we'll give it a little scuff with probably some 80 grit or 120. And then we'll start laying down the adhesion promoter or web spray and go from there. Guys, we'll just use just a little bit of water here. Nothing too fancy. We're just trying to get into those nicks and crevices, soften everything up, and then I'll get my pick tool in here to scrape some of this stuff that's just been sitting in here for years. Loosen all this up, get some water, moisture on it. Guys, if you're doing any kind of work on stuff like this in tight areas, I highly suggest picking up some of these pick tools. These are like a go-to for me when I gotta get into tight areas to scrape something out or pick something, especially with spring clips and C clips as well. These come in handy so much. Definitely a go-to for a toolbox edition. Definitely won't go wrong on it. Just gets in the corners. Looks like that little bit of water softened everything up as it was. Huge wind. I have to turn on the hose and just rinse this off, and then we'll be right back. Yeah, I think everything is pretty well loosened up. Loosened up and cleaned. Like I said, I'm not too worried on scratching the outside now that we're wrapping it with the Alcantara. So some of this stuff here, it looks like there was like some glue down here at one point in time. Not too sure what it was, but it's kind of stuck on there pretty good actually. Let's see if we can get this off here. It's like a glue. We're gonna give this a quick hose and then we'll be right back with you. All right, guys, we are back. Now we're just gonna prep the surface. If you're trying to do anything automotive-wise, painting, it all relies generally right down to your prep. So if you have a shitty prep, be prepared to have a shitty product. So what you're gonna do, we are just gonna prep the surface. We got a lot of nicks and stuff on the side here. I'm sure you can see. We're just gonna hit this with a little bit of paper, just kind of take off the top edge, all the nicks and stuff. Give her a good wipe down. It's in generally pretty good shape. It's just really dinged up. There's not really too many deep ones, and those ones that we do have, we're just, like I said, hitting it with a little bit of sandpaper. Wipe it down. Make sure everything's dry. Make sure everything's dry. We got a little edge. We're gonna round off this edge here. Yeah, let's hit this. We did have a little bit of work down here on this bottom edge. So we don't want to get rid of this body line here. It's like a trim line, like a molding line. So we're just gonna try and stay away from that as much as possible, but also at the same time flattening off all of this bottom stuff that's going to be seen. You know, I'm not exactly happy with that, but it's kind of embedded into the plastic. Nothing really. Hit it a little bit more here. Kind of tough because it's like it was glued on with like super glue or something. I don't know what was down here originally, but this has been like this since we had the car, so. It's a little better. A lot of the high spots, got a couple on this side too. So I just give it a quick little scuff. It's not as many nicks. It's definitely gonna be a challenge today. This is the first time doing Alcantara and wrapping stuff in suede, so the key point I just got to remember for myself is not to get too carried away and take my time. So if you want a great product, you got to take your time, and that's what we're after today. Got a little nick there again. I know me personally, sometimes we can get carried away and excited, and you kind of start losing track of what you're trying to do. So key thing is to focus, take our time, and hopefully we come up with a great product. Alrighty guys, just like that, we have our Alcantara all cut up in a roll. So we're gonna start from the front edge here. I'm gonna work my way back. I chose to do one solid piece because I want to wrap around the back here and not have to have a seam. So that's my big concern. So we went one piece roll. It looks like we got a little bit of rubber at the back here. We're just gonna pull it off. Pull it off. Get rid of the double-sided tape. We don't really need it anyway, and then nothing really going on back there. A little bit of water stored under there. I'm gonna dry this off. Dry this off. Wipe it down. Yep, so that's okay. Make sure we get in here. Alright, we are ready to go. So we're using this 357 premium web spray. We're going to give this a pretty good coat in the seams and everything. We got to be very careful not to fill the seams with too much spray. It's going to be probably one of those mask it off at a later date or a later time. Just kind of get our wrap around the edge, and then we'll worry about that later. A lot of these plastics are going to hold this inner edge nice and tight, so I'm not too worried about it, but if it comes up, we'll hit it with some web spray and then wait. Alrighty guys, it's been like 5 minutes. It's pretty well tacked up here. We're gonna start laying this down. I'm gonna start from the front edge here, work my way back and then around. I put the wood down just so when I can lay it over, it's not gonna pick up any of the overspray and stuff that's on there. So like I said, we're just gonna start at the front here. I'm gonna leave myself a couple inches at the bottom to work with. That way I can do my lap. So we just got the front edge tacked down. I'm just gonna pull this and just gonna rub this out. I do have a spreader here that we're gonna use. Just try to get all the bubbles out. Kind of like working with vinyl. You want to make sure you get all your wrinkles and stuff out, but be firm enough on it that it's gonna stick. Hold up that edge. As soon as we get this wrapped around the corner and the edge, like I said, I'm going to flip it over, and then we'll start smoothing it out. Just trying to get everything tacked down right now. Okay, and we're just going to take this and roll this like this. Let that edge go. like I said before, we're trying to go slow here and just take our time. There's a lot of curvatures on this. I'm just trying to get all the wrinkles out right now on the backside. Pretty much gonna act as if this is vinyl. You know, it's got a little bit of stretch in it. I'm trying to get some of these wrinkles out here. It's just a really weird curvature at the back. Where that pad sits. See, like you can see here, look, hopefully there's a little bit of a finger. Just gonna rub this, kind of work this down, work this bubble out to the nearest edge. Again, you guys can do this stuff in 2 pieces. I just prefer 1 piece, just because you gotta get the Alcantara to go the sway to pull one way. So when you wipe it, it's smooth one way. Wipe it the other way, it's rough. I just wanted to match that on both sides. Hopefully we didn't leave ourselves short. We shouldn't have. Now we're just going to rub this down, get all our edges good and ready. Okay, there's a lot of tension right here, you guys. You can see how it's kind of bouncing. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a relief cut this way. We're going to trim out a lot of this and then just fold it over with our squeegee here. I'm going to tuck it down inside. There's some grooves we're playing with on the bottom that we're just got to be very careful not to fill it too much with the Alcantara, or the other pieces won't clip into them. Pain in the ass. It's got to go inside that. Okay, let go. Alrighty, guys, we're gonna start trimming this up. Trim this whole thing up. It looks good so far. I'm super excited. It's definitely gonna give it a lot cleaner of a look. Now what we're going to do is we're going to try to keep the waist to a minimum, because we still have the top lid to wrap. But this bottom edge I'm not too concerned with. We're going to roll this over. I'm going to leave myself about a 1/2 inch to roll, and then yeah. Then that should be sufficient enough to fold under and stick down. Now this product we picked up secondhand. We got a pretty good deal on it. We got 2 rolls of black vinyl also with this pickup, so that's a huge bonus. But you guys can order this stuff off of Amazon. I'll link the product in the description below. It seems like it's relatively inexpensive for some good Alcantara, and definitely a good DIY update for anybody looking for something a little different. What we're gonna do is we're gonna spray the inside of this with the web spray, and then we're gonna continue to roll this over and stick it in. This part here, like we did up here, kind of relief cut it just a little bit to the corner, so we can fold this over and get a good point here. This is all going to be exposed, so I want to make sure this is as nice and tight as possible, and give you a nice corner. Like I said, we're trying to take our time here. Take as much time as you need to make these corners nice and clean. Like I said, preparation is your biggest problem. If you want a good job, you have to make sure the prep is there. So like there, we gotta hit that again. So again, we're just gonna spray this. Not too concerned with how much we use. At this point here, we're able to spray the back of the cloth and the piece. So you guys can kind of see what I mean by this little edge. This little edge is what all the plastics clip into. So we gotta be careful not to fill that gap with too much. So we're just gonna let this flash off. Looks like I missed a little piece at the front here. We're gonna let that flash off, and then we'll get to rolling this underside. Alrighty guys, it looks like this is tacked up enough. So I'm gonna start once again. I'm gonna start from this this front edge. I'm just gonna kind of work it. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna start from this crease here. I'm gonna work this back. I'm gonna pull that nice and tight. It's gonna stick it down. And now we got a little bit of a finger there. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take this. I'm also gonna pull this up. And it's okay if you have a finger, you can always leave it and lap it over. So I'm just giving myself a nice hard line here on the bottom. And we're gonna continue to roll this up and in, kind of like you're working on vinyl, like I said earlier. That's what I'm finding is it's got pretty much the same characteristics and application process. So like I said, we're gonna continue to roll this over the edge. As you can see, it's starting to work its way over, and then we can stick it down. And we can, like I said, taking our time. It's all stuck down now. Now this web spray is pretty good. I'm sure there's better product out there, but this is what I think would work. Like I've done some other cloth projects on the rear of the car, just for the speaker covers and stuff like that. And they've worked great. It hasn't failed me, and this is the product I've used. So now coming to this front round, we're just gonna give it some relief cuts, just to be able to pull the tension out. So we're just wrapping this around, just kind of pushing down as we go, working. Now I can take this piece that I gave the relief cut to. We can pull it around the round corner. Now I'm just going to add a little bit of web spray to this piece here. I'm gonna let that tack, and then I'm gonna while I'm waiting, I'm gonna go to the front here, the back. Now again, same process. We're just working this edge. We're gonna work it over. I'm gonna make sure this is nice and tight in that little corner. I'm gonna stick that down. Start working this down, and eventually we'll get it nice and smooth all the way down. We are all stuck down on this edge. It goes pretty quick once you start getting the hang of things. Like this edge is nice and tight. I'm super happy with that. Now that this one is down, I'm just gonna use my knife. It's not tacky enough yet. It's definitely not tacky. It's still a little wet. So I'm going to switch to the back side here. Switch to the back side. We have another rounded edge. This one's a little tighter. So like I said, I'm just going to work this in with my thumb. We did manage to get some web spray on there from when we just did that other section. So nice tight corner. This one's a little tighter, a little more awkward. So we're just going to give it a relief cuts. Relief cuts are your friends, guys. Don't be too shy to give yourself relief cuts. It relieves a lot of tension in some of these corners that are a lot tighter. As long as you don't go too far, my bad. As long as you don't go too far with your relief cuts, it should work out in the end. Instead, we're just even pressure all the way across here. I don't have any web spray up top, so we're just gonna work this little section while we wait for that to dry, and then we'll flip it over to the top. We're just pushing down, trying to get all the air bubbles out. Looks like we're doing pretty good. Looks like there's a little bit of a pebble or something there we just picked up. So I'm gonna pull that. Might need a little bit of web spray here. It's okay if you have to add some more. It's not a big deal. Usually you want to get it done in one shot, but just don't want to go buck wild with this stuff. It comes out a little wet, so we're just gonna make sure your piece has got enough on it. So like you're running the risk of getting this stuff all over the top of the cloth, which you don't want because this shit is sticky. So now down here on this bottom edge, it looks like we're pretty good, so we're going to take this, fold this over nice and tight. Keep that rounded edge going. This one, now we're going to have a little bit of a transition here, so we're going to stick that down. And then we're going to have to notch this. Add a little tick there, fold this down underneath. Gotta be careful here because this is all exposed. Some of this stuff you can get away with doing your relief cuts and stuff, but some of this stuff, with it being such a weird shape for the interior, it will be exposed. So we'll just do the best we can. I'm sure it's a very inexpensive product to order. We got a lot of it, so we got a pretty good roll to do a bunch of stuff with. So if for any reason we need extra, we have some. But all in all, so far this bottom edge is really nice. Really nice. I'm liking it. Super excited to flip it over and get getting the top. The top is going to be a little bit more of a tougher job because there'll be more reliefs to it. So we need some web spray back here. Finish this off. So we're gonna take this now. I'm gonna flip this around. We'll get it all pressed down for the ashtray. We're gonna roll this over. Just start the process all over again. Okay. So as you can see on the top here, we got a lot of up top here. We got a lot of slack up in the top because we got to roll. We actually got to roll that edge down inside the cup holder to secure it. So I'm gonna start here. I got a fair bit of stuff, so I'm gonna find where the most tension is, and we're gonna find our spot. I'm gonna cut a little bit there. I'm just gonna try and follow that depth all the way up. And then now I've relieved all that tension, and I can fold it down inside. You don't want to go too deep because you need enough to match this radius. And you don't want to see your cuts. That's the worst thing. So there's a little bit more tension here. And I want, sorry, to fold that. A lot of tension here. Give myself about a thumb's width. Then we're going to give this a little bit of relief there as well. Quite a bit of tension there. This is the tricky part, like I said. Not wanting to leave a lot, but also leaving yourself enough to roll over and not see your seams. The nice thing about this is the plastic covers that go on the inside, like the shifter bezel and the e-brake bezel, they'll cover a lot of this stuff in a way that it sits pretty even. They're almost going to act as if they're a clamp to holding this stuff in. So up here, there's that. So we got it nice and tight in there now. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my knife, cut this edge. Except my blade is kind of dull, it looks like. Take this, cut that off. Once again, take this, now that we've cut a bunch of it off, a lot of the excess, just going to roll this edge down. Some spots that is lifting, I'll deal with in a second here. Just want to get the majority of this. This radius is a tough one. Get this all folded down. I need a little bit, looks like I need a little bit more web spray here, guys, so it dries out relatively quick, this stuff. So you almost gotta work, you gotta work a little fast. It's a hot day here as well, so it's kind of expected. I think we'll give all this one more coat, so I'm gonna roll this on the edge here. And then I'm gonna spray this way. I'm gonna spray this way to get it all stuck. It's definitely a fine line you got to work with. You got to work with a timeline. Also, you don't want it too wet that it's going to slide around. So, I mean, I got a lot of extra here I can cut off, but I don't want to cut it yet. I want to get everything sealed down and stuck. Then we can go back and trim. So now we got another tight radius up top. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to stick this side down first, and then I'm going to pull it down. And now that I got myself a little finger, I'm going to fold it over. I'm actually going to take this back up into here. I'm going to pull this. Now that I know where the finger's at. I'll take this, give it a little slice. Once again, we're working with such a tight tolerance here. one side complete, guys. Look at that. Look how nice that looks, man. One side all complete, and now we're gonna switch to the other side and do the same thing. Alrighty guys, just like that, we have everything back installed in the car. This turned out absolutely amazing, you guys. There is some pieces, like I mentioned earlier, that I'm not too happy with, that we'll go back at a later date and switch up. It kind of looks like this Alcantara is blue in a way. I'm not too sure why that is. Maybe you guys, maybe somebody knows down in the comments, but now the dilemma is, it looks so good. Do we wrap this upper piece here in Alcantara? That is like that's the struggle now, I guess, is going to be figuring out if we just do the bottom or we do this upper part as well, this one here. But all in all, that's going to be it. Like I said, guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I'm wiped out. We have some other stuff to be doing as well for a future video for next week. But other than that, I appreciate you guys coming in. Remember, like, comment, and subscribe down below. Turn on the bell notifications, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace!